Hey everybody, I'm Becky Adams. Thank you for stopping by the Scrapbook and Cards Today YouTube channel. Today I am creating an 8.5 by 11 layout that is in the summer 2022 issue of Scrapbook and Cards Today magazine. I am using two collections to create this layout. One is the Let's Go collection by Simple Stories, and the other one is the Round Trip collection by Maggie Holmes and American Crafts. So it's been a long time since I have done an 8.5 by 11 layout. And one thing that I do to kind of make this process a little bit easier on myself is to pick out a big element, whether I have a large photo or a lot of journaling or a really big embellishment. I try to pick something that does a lot of the work for me and make the process of creating the layout more fun than stressful. And that's what I did with this chipboard frame, because not only does it take up a lot of room on the layout, but it also houses my photos as well as my title. So when I have a big element like this, I want to make sure and use a really good, strong adhesive. So I have some double-sided tape from scrapbook.com that I'm using to adhere my photos to the chipboard frame. My photo was a little bit taller there in the yellow frame, and so I just trimmed that off with a pair of scissors there at the top. So it's time to start building my background. I have this really fun kind of a lighter teal pattern paper that I am trimming down to 8.5 by 11. And we'll make sure and hang on to that, the rest of the piece of that pattern paper, because I love that pattern. I do wish that I had cut the center out of it as well. Before I adhered this white cardstock, so that I had just a little bit more of it. But I'll just have to pick up another piece next time I place an order. So I have a piece of white cardstock that I trimmed down a little bit so that I have 1/4 of an inch border around the entire layout. I also stitched around that piece of white cardstock with my sewing machine and white thread. I took this piece of pattern paper straight out of the 6 by 8 paper pad. I didn't trim it down or anything else. I just used it straight out of there and stitched around it with my sewing machine and white thread. And then I'm using my T-square ruler to make sure that I have it placed just where I want it. And then I will adhere it to the background and start building my layout from there. So to adhere this chipboard piece to my background, again, I'm using that strong double-sided tape from scrapbook.com, but I'm only putting it around the bottom and on the two sides. I didn't want to adhere that top portion just yet because I have a couple of little bits that I want to kind of tuck behind the chipboard frames. So we'll remove the backing and place this chipboard frame on my background. But before I do that, I wanted to make sure that I'm leaving plenty of room for my journaling. So I printed my journaling just here at home using just regular copy paper. I prefer the American typewriter font, and then I just trimmed it out with my paper trimmer, and we've got my journaling all taken care of. So below my chipboard frames, I wanted another pop of that kind of teal color, and there's this really fun washi in the Let's Go collection that is a tone-on-tone map print that had the perfect color that I was looking for. But I knew if I placed it just on the background of the layout that it the color wouldn't stay true because it would pick up a little bit of that kind of apricot color in the background. So I just put it on a piece of white cardstock and then trim the white cardstock down so that you don't even see it. And then I'm just going to adhere it there to my background just below my chipboard frame. And then I'll press down that chipboard frame really well so that it stays in place. And then I have these two tags, and these came from the Maggie Holmes round trip collection. And I'm going to put a little bit of white crochet thread and just loop it through each of the tags. So while I'm doing that, I wanted to make sure that you know that I have a new class available over on the Scrapbook and Cards Today website called Travel Toolkit. And whether you have a fun vacation planned for this summer, or you have already taken a vacation and you have lots of photos that you need to get scrapbooked, or if you have photos from a vacation that you took quite a while ago and you want to get those into an album, this is the class for you. There are 6 brand new layouts in this class. We'll have a Facebook group and lots of fun, and talk about all things related to travel and scrapbooking. So I'll make sure that all of the information is in the description box below for my travel toolkit class. I would love to have you over there. We're going to have so much fun. All right, back to the layout, and I've looped the crochet thread through the holes on those tags, and then instead of tying bows at the top of the tags, I wanted to do something a little bit different. I've done this technique over and over again, but I think it's really fun to do something a little bit different and just loop that thread, or I guess lay the thread over the background. So it kind of looks like the tags are hanging off of the top of the layout. Now that I have those tags in place, there's a pop of kind of a navy color in the kind of stripe tag on the right, and I wanted to bring a pop of that color down to the bottom of the layout, and this scalloped border sticker was the perfect way to do that. It balances the color perfectly. So I trimmed that down and just put it there below my journaling. I'm adhering this fun chipboard camera using some liquid adhesive there just above the title. And then I have just a few other bits and pieces that I wanted to add to this layout. It is almost finished. I've just got this tiny word sticker that I left just enough room for that sticker there on that blue tag. And then there's this really cute Route 66 road sign that I wanted to layer on top of that floral tag. So I'm just putting some foam squares along the top portion of the sticker, and then the bottom portion of the sticker I'm just going to tuck right there behind the chipboard frame, the yellow frame. I did want a little bit more of that floral tag to show, so I just carefully pulled that up and scooted that up on the layout a little bit so you could see more of that floral tag. And then I just carefully pulled the thread tight so that it was tight along the top. One of my favorite ways to finish off like the hole on a tag is to just place an adhesive brad over top. These adhesive brads are from the Simple Stories Let's Go collection. I love it because they don't have prongs, and that's my favorite. I don't like messing with the paper piercer and the prongs. They just adhere right to your background. So I have this chipboard heart that I'm putting just kind of at the end of my journaling. I wanted to bring a little bit of dimension and embellishment there to to the bottom of the layout since I have a few embellishments there at the top. I love this punch, this photo corner punch from We Are Memory Keepers. I've been using it all the time lately. I have it just sitting out on my desk because it's such a fun way to add just little pops of color to a project and give it a really nice finishing look. I will say I use a tape runner here to adhere the photo corners. In hindsight, looking back, I would just use liquid adhesive. That seems to be what works the best on these photo corners, but I did use tape runner. But if you're wanting to create this same project, I would definitely recommend just using a liquid adhesive. So instead of using these photo corners as actual photo corners, I wanted to add them to just the white cardstock on this page. I just think it gives such a fun finishing look, brings that little bit of color out to the corners of the layout, and it just finished things off perfectly. So and the other thing that's nice about these photo corners, when you punch them, they already have the score lines. So you don't have to mess with and try and figure out exactly where to fold it. It's already scored when you punch it. So I'm just putting that last photo corner in place, and I can see already that they're kind of popping up. And so I'm just taking a little bit of liquid adhesive and just putting a dot of liquid adhesive underneath each of the corners. And with that, this one is finished. So thank you so much for stopping by. Make sure you check out the summer 2022 issue of the magazine. If you haven't subscribed to the magazine, you definitely need to. It is absolutely worth it. I appreciate you stopping by today and spending part of your day with me. I really appreciate it. Thank you again for stopping by, and I will see you again soon.